Welcome to another edition of the Finish First program. I'm Judge Dawson, and today I want to talk with you about living with intensity. Living with intensity. But before we do that, we always have to go over the premise of the Cycle Breaker program, the pillars to our theory. And basically, the first step to being a cycle breaker is to recognize your need for change. You have to know deep down in your soul somewhere that there's something that you want to change for the better. Now, not for the worse, but you want to change it for the better. And it could be something that involves you, your family, or your friends, maybe even your community or the world at large. But as soon as you identify that thing that you want to change, that you want to make better, that's when you will start on the path of being a cycle breaker. Number two, after you realize the need for change, then you have to commit to making the change. See, that's where a lot of us fall off, because we'll notice that, hey, you know what, they need to stop doing this, or that person should do that. But the question is, are you going to commit to being a part of that change? And even if it's not something that's outside of your life, it's even more important when it's inside of your life. You know, an example, I know I need to stop committing domestic violence, or maybe you won't even label it that. I know I need to stop arguing with my wife or my spouse when I get home, or I know I need to stop putting my hands on my husband. Whatever it is, when you take ownership of it after identifying the need to change, you have to commit to making the change, because nothing will ever get done if you fail to commit to that change. And then the third step of being a cycle breaker is that you have to get the tools and the resources that will help you make it to that level of change. One thing is to acknowledge what needs to be changed. Another thing is to commit to making the change. But it's a whole nother level when you decide to gather the tools necessary to make that change. That means you're going to be around the right people. You're going to watch the right things on TV. You're going to read the right books, maybe even start listening to a totally different type of music. But that's just the beginning of it. The bottom line is that a lot of things in our lives, a lot of things that we want to accomplish, there are tools that are necessary to get to that level. And one failure that we often run into is that we make these big goals, we create the plan, we commit to the plan, but then we don't know what to do to get there. So getting the tools to be the cycle breaker that you want to be is most important. And then lastly, after you've done all of that, you've identified the need to change, you've made the commitment to making the change, you gathered the tools, now you have to stay in there when the going gets tough. When it gets hard, when your friends don't believe in you, when every temptation is walking through your door, pulling you back to that old lifestyle that you had before, that's when you have to really bear down and be a cycle breaker. So that's that grit to hang in there when the going gets tough. So the 4 steps of being a cycle breaker: recognize the need for change, commit to making the change, get the tools that are necessary, and then stay in the game when the going gets hard. Don't give up no matter what. Let's go. Living with intensity. So what does it mean to live with intensity? There are 3 levels to it, at least from my analysis as a cycle breaker and Judge Dawson. I'm sure other people have come up with their own theories. But for me and for what we're trying to do, there are 3 ways to think about it. Living with intensity. What is it? First of all, it's living with passion. That means no matter what is going on, get up in the morning with passion about what you are doing. For instance, right at this moment, I'm taking a break between court to do this video. I didn't have the best day on the bench. I had a lot of cases that stressed me out. I had altercations with people, but yet and still, because you are important to me, because this video and these sessions are important to me, I bring passion to it. So when we talk about living with intensity, we're talking about being passionate about what you're doing. So when you get up in the morning, it's hard sometimes for people to get up. Take a deep breath in, think about what you're grateful for, and then move with passion, energy, positive energy about what you want to accomplish. Number 2, not only with passion should you move and act, but also with power. with power. And what that means is you have to be intentional about what you want to do. So when you get up and you start to walk, and whether it's walking to work, walking to the bathroom, do it intentionally. Don't mope and drag, move with intention and power. When you go to work and you walk through that door, I don't care if it's McDonald's, Popeyes, or a Fortune 500 company, walk in, speak to people with energy and power because you know what you want to accomplish. You know what your goals are. And we're going to talk about that later, but we're talking about living with intensity. So not only do you wake up with passion, you move with power, confidence that what you care about and what you want to accomplish will be done. That's what the power comes from. The power doesn't come from you asserting your strength, your physical strength on somebody, or it doesn't come from you bullying somebody. The power comes from the passion about what you want to complete or what you want to do. So don't lord it over people, don't brag about it, just move with passion and power. And then the third way, what we mean by living with intensity is moving with purpose. So it's one thing to wake up and say, you know what, I'm going to move with passion and I'm going to move with power. I'm going to walk confidently. I'm going to speak my mind. I'm going to speak my truth. But if you're not moving with purpose, it's all for nothing because you're going to move fast, spin your wheels, and you won't get anywhere. The purpose end of it is so important, and that's where a lot of people fall off. They don't realize that if you don't set an intention and purpose for every moment of your life, every stage that you're in, you will fall for anything. I like to start my yoga classes by telling people, look, you can set an intention for this class. You can decide if you want it to be a powerful class, or you can decide if you want it to be a relaxing class. But you have the power to set your intention. The same thing applies to your life. You have the ability to set the purpose and the trajectory or the way that you're gonna go in your life. So when I talk about living with intensity, I'm talking about living with passion, moving with power, and living with a sense of purpose. And when you do that, your life will be intensified times 10. And you need that because these times are crazy. We have pandemics, we have unemployment, we have layoffs, we have violence, we have all types of things weighing on our bodies and our minds every single day. So it's more important now than ever that you wake up with intensity so that you can achieve your goals and be the best that you can be. Let's go.